m times 10 to the nth power is the formula for scientific notation. The m is the number, and it always has the number of significant figures. That's how many numbers you have to write down, how many significant figures were your original number. And m is always equal to or greater than 1. And it is less than 10. M is greater than 1 and less than 10. So m has to be somewhere between 1 and 9.9999 and continued on with as many 9s as you care to write. There will never be an m that's 20 or 14 or 0.1 or 0.999. M is always bigger than or equal to 1. It might be 1, but it's not going to be less than 1. Okay? And it might be 9.9999, but it will never be 10. So that's the m. The n is the power of 10. If you have a big number, then n is positive. Now, what do I mean by a big number? Anything that's bigger than a decimal. Anything from 1 to as big a number as you can imagine. 1 to infinity, I call a big number. Anything that's a decimal down to infinity small is a little number. So, big numbers, n is positive. Little numbers, n is negative. Let's do a couple. All right. I'll put commas here on this big number so you, and that is the 0. This is the 0. My pen just got carried away. Okay. How many significant figures are in this number? 2. Where's my decimal? There is one understood. Where's my understood decimal? At the end. So I've got to move my understood decimal so that I have a number that's between 1 and 10. So if I put it right there between the 8 and the 6, does that give me a number between 1 and 10? Yes. So I have 8.6. You told me that it had 2 significant figures. How many significant figures have I written down? 2. Then I write times 10, and I go back and I count the humming thing. I count how many places I moved my decimal to get it where it is now. So I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 to the 10th power. Was the original number a big number? Yes. So my exponent is positive. Big number, positive exponent. Okay? Now, we'll put commas. Usually you don't have commas on the test, you have a space. There'll be 3 zeros and a space. 3 zeros and a space. In your book it has a space. So it makes it easier to count the zeros instead of all of them being blotted up next to each other. That allows you to count in groups of 3. All right, is it a big number or a little number? How many significant figures are there? 2. So I've got to move my decimal from here so that I have a number that is between 1 and 10. Notice I stopped when I got to 6. My decimal went past the 6. So I have 6.0 times 10 to the, count the huffy things, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, minus 7. Now if you leave that minus sign off, that makes your number about 10 to the 14th off. That's a huge mistake. There was a nurse over out in California was taking care of some celebrities, twin babies. And they gave them the wrong medicine because they did not check the decimal place. They went in there, they grabbed up a vial of the medicine, they didn't look at it to make sure that the decimal place was in the right place, and they like to kill those kids. So you nurses and doctors and vets and pharmacists, you have to pay attention to where your decimals are. Because you can kill somebody fairly easily. If you're going to be an accountant and you're doing my taxes and you get the decimals out of place and I don't pay enough money to the IRS, they're going to come and arrest me and I'm going to sue you. If you're a nurse and you kill me, my family's going to sue you. You have to be aware and be meticulous about what you're doing. You are going to be professional. So I insist that you be meticulous about what you do for me, because I feel I am training you to get ready to go out into a workplace where what you do is important to those people that you are doing a service for. If I don't teach you some math and you get an elementary education and you go down to the elementary school and you don't know any math, how are you going to teach those kids math? So everybody that's in here is planning to be a professional. So I insist that you be meticulous about what you do. So if you leave that minus sign off, it's wrong. No credit. One of us say, I forgot to write the minus. I'm sorry, you missed it. So you have to pay attention. Alright? Now, because I think this is my smart group, let's do this one. Is that correct? What's wrong with it? That number is bigger than 10, isn't it? So we know it's not right. Is it a big number? Yeah. So our understood decimal back to 2. So we're going to move it here. And if it's a big number, how many places did I move? Positive 2 or negative 2? Positive 2. So I'm going to write positive 2 up there. And I'm going to write it over again. 5.62 times 10 to the 7. I already had plus 5, and I added plus 2 to 2. Now, I don't think any of this is going to come, but it will be. Don't test, I think. All right, so let's do 0.0052 times 10 to the 5th. That's on 5 for some reason. All right, is that correct? No, we need to fix it. That number is not between 1 and 10. So move your decimal. Is it a big number or a little number? So I'm moving it to the negative direction. 2, 3, negative, minus 3, right? I put that up there to remind me so I don't forget when I get through. 5.2 times 10 to the 5 minus 3 is 2. You got the deer in the headlights, folks. Ask questions. Smart class, add stuff. I like smart class. Now, did I do anything different? Not really. Still looking to make sure my number is between 1 and 10. If the number is big, then I have a positive exponent, and I have to add it to what's already there. If I have a negative exponent, then I add it to whatever's there, using my algebraic addition rule. Okay? So if I have 0.0042 times 10 to the minus 3, little number, it's going to be a negative exponent that I do. So 1, 2, 3, stop when I get to a number that's between 1 and 10. 4.2 times 10 to the minus 3 is minus 6. Now, let's learn how to put this stuff in our calculator. Oh. How many of you have a calculator? Get your calculator out. When you get here the first of each day, get out your notebook or your packet, get out your calculator, and have those ready. I won't ask you to get out your book, because most of the time we don't use books. We have to have it every day. Okay, so I want you. Now, who does not have a calculator? I expect you to have your own calculator by the end of the week. Come up here and borrow one and put it back in there neatly when you get through with it, please. We're fixing to learn how to use it. Now, that's why there's forward on them, right? So you don't accidentally get sticking in yourself. Uh-oh. Make sure I get it back. All right, everybody's got a calculator now? Now, one of the problems you have, folks, you going to sit over there to laugh? You need a calculator. Get up and get one. You're still sitting over there. Make sure I get my calculator back. That's my personal calculator. This? Beat you. All right. Now, on these calculators, you have an EXP button, or an EE button, or on the graphing calculator, you do second or inverse, second, comma, to get to the exponent. Okay? So find that on the calculator you're using. Graphing calculators, for the most part, have the second comma. The EE button is like a second EE on the thing. Usually it's written above one of the keys. The EXP button is on the bottom, and it's got a button that says EXP on it. Each one of these buttons, when you push them, take care of times 10. You do not type in times 10 ever with a calculator, unless you want the wrong answer. Okay? So we're going to say 5 point... Whoops. Terrible. 5. Let's do 5.32 times 10 to the 5th times... Now, we're going to learn in the next day or two that this line right here is a division line. This long line is a division line. This vertical line is a times line. So rather than me write times up here again, and you get confused with all the x's, I put this down like this. All right, times 7.9 times 10 to the 4th divided by 8.26 times 10 to the 8. I don't want 8. Let me change that to 15. Okay. Now, follow with me. Type 5.32. Either punch the ESP button, do the EE button, or do the second comma. So I'm going to say 5.32 EE 5. Once you hit the EE button, you're ready to put the exponent in. Now now hit the times 7.9 EE4. Whatever you have to do to get your EE. The different calculators are different. You have to figure it out. This is why you need your calculator. So if you figured out my calculator, you don't get that particular brand. You got a different brand on the test, and you're going, I didn't see the EXP button. Oh. So you need your own calculator. You learn to use it, and you'll be good. Hit the divided by 8.26 times T. Excuse me, I got carried away here. 8.26 EE 15.
Got a negative x.
Yes, you do. Exactly. Yeah. Press enter. Or equals. Equals. All right. What's the number we got?
5.
Wait a minute. What? 5. Say 5.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. 5.088.
8.
1.
3, 5, 5.
I don't want all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then you have an exponent of
Negative 6.
-6 times 10 to the -6. That's how you report that answer. Everybody get -6. Now here's what's going to happen if you don't do the way I'm teaching you how to do this. If you say 5.32 times 10 to the 5th times 7.9 times 10 to the 4th divided by, you're going to get the wrong answer. You're going to have 1 power of 10 too much. Yeah. Oh, yours did a number. Yeah, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Now, tomorrow we're going to learn, and I'll go ahead and mention it today, tomorrow we're going to learn when you multiply numbers in chemistry class, you have 3 significant figures here, you have 2 significant figures here, and you have 3 significant figures here. You're going to round this number off to 2 significant figures. So the number on the blank on the test should be 5.1 times 10 to the -6, or 0.05051. Okay? So we would round that off to 2 significant figures. We don't write every number on our calculator. That's what we're learning tomorrow, is when to do that. How much time we got left?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Okay, so that's enough for today. So try to look at these. There's a couple where you're multiplying and dividing. Don't worry about adding and subtracting. Well, you can do the addition as well. But look at those and try to do those. I need my calculator back. You need a calculator by the end of the week so you can do your homework.